We are going to talk about 3 key issues in Peoria that our league is actively engaged in. These may ring a bell with you, or if they don't, our goal today is to raise your awareness and educate you on 3 major water issues that are of importance in your community, hopefully not all of them at one time like they are in Peoria. So, for us, we have municipal water ownership, which is a goal of our group, because currently our water is privately owned, and we pay twice the rates of normal in Illinois. We have combined sewers, we'll talk about those more later, and Elaine is going to go into more detail on a very important land and water conservation fund. So first, for the assessment of water ownership, our league has an action committee who has been studying our water issues on private versus public ownership for over a year. We have a very active committee. They've been active publicly with a coalition promoting due diligence, that is the study, should our city buy back its currently privately owned water, which costs us a lot, and we have concerns about water quality. Another issue in Peoria right now is violations because we have combined sewer overflows. The photo on the right shows over 12 discharge points where raw sewage mixed with storm water from surface drains enters the Peoria River even at the slightest rain or snowfall. That is really bad. So our city is proposing a green solution. We haven't studied further on that, but we have had informational meetings and spoken with other groups about it, and we're actively engaged.
And finally, we have a beautiful park along the Illinois River and the lower Peoria Lake called Riverfront Park. It's owned by the city, but it was purchased with federal land and water conservation funds. This fund comes from taxing offshore oil and gas, but it can be abused. The city wants to turn this beautiful park and give it to a developer for 4 four-story apartment buildings. Yeah, bad. We've been fighting this like mad. We've been fighting it for several years. Come to our caucus Friday morning at the god-awful time of 7:30 in the morning in Room B in the Hilton. We're going to go into in-depth about our fight to save this park. Meanwhile, we all need to save this Land and Water Conservation Fund money. The Trump administration started by cutting the fund. People in Congress have rallied to try to save it. We don't know what will happen, but unless Congress acts, the whole fund, which has funded most of the great, fabulous parks and areas in the U.S., this fund expires in 100 days unless Congress appropriates the money to keep it going. Very important. So there'll be more information on this also at our caucus on Friday, 7:30 a.m. Thank you so much. Oh, we got more? Yeah. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
So for the Riverfront Park, it's used by everyone. We have Peoria School District sending hundreds and hundreds of children. You can see an outing at the bottom. It is the only really open green space on our riverfront, which is cluttered with various concrete stages, boat dock, and various other things. So it is the last truly open space north of the downtown. It's an environmental justice issue. There's a public housing area within 2 blocks, and the neighborhood around it is mostly Hispanic and a variety of low income. We have been at City Hall over 12 times in the last 2.5 years, and every time we've packed the room and made it clear the public wants to save the park. Unfortunately, the city council, led by the mayor, have gone on the side of the developers. So tools we have found useful. Of course, public engagement, the league is great at that. Lots of letters to the editor. 40 letters to the editor pro saving the park, only a few against it. This has a loop trail, it's a popular loop trail, and that will be lost because the replacement land, as you see on the right, floods. According to national land and water conservation regulations, if you sell part of the public open space, you have to replace it with something of nearly equivalent recreational use and approximate value. We contend areas that flood numerous times a year are not equivalent. Do you want to talk? Just look at this slide.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you start fighting City Hall, you're in for a fight, let me tell you. But we keep fighting. Delay is on our side. All the costs keep rising on construction, and we're hoping that we're going to save this park. We want it to be placed in a permanent conservation easement so nobody else has to go through fighting to save this park, because it's a beautiful place and well loved. And this Land and Water Conservation Fund is the essential program for acquisition of parks. Most of the great parks in the U.S. have been acquired with this money. The project started in 1965 and has funded over 41,000 parks and natural areas in the U.S., probably in all 50 states, in every one of your states. So you can contact your U.S. representative, save this fund, vote for this fund, and if they won't vote to save this fund, throw them out in November. Thank you so much.